Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is JD or Nux here. I'm just checking in, doing my weekly vlog update on my anxiety problem. In which, as you can see, if you look up or look down, I keep forgetting, wherever the YouTube video title will be, because YouTube always changes, this video is a huge update. Because, quite frankly, I don't think I'm going to be vlogging about my current anxiety problems because as of this Tuesday, as I said last week, there will possibly be a huge update within my condition. And as of Tuesday, after coming back from my neurologist, that is pretty much the truth. So, as of right now, I kind of believe that I don't really have hypochondria anymore. Simply because I recently been told that there is or there could very well be. It's not necessarily confirmed until I get this one test done, but due to my neurologist telling me that there pretty much is an underlying issue that is going on with me that is causing all the symptoms that I've been experiencing for the past 4 months. So basically, if I already put it in the title, you can pretty much guess what it is. And I'll basically explain what happened on Tuesday. So, skipping throughout the weekend, skipping through the week, I went to my neurologist Tuesday morning. It was around 10:30, and I went to his appointment, and basically he kind of just looked at me for a while. He basically, asked how I was doing for the past couple of months or past 6 weeks, and basically he was going to send me on my way because basically I looked healthy, I looked okay. Don't Just by doing his test, he didn't really expect anything to be wrong with me. That is, however, I brought up the possibility of me having the POTS, which is basically postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome for people who don't know what that is. So I mentioned that to him, and I am so glad that he's one of the few, I guess few, but he's basically a doctor or a specialist who knows exactly what that is because I ended up asking him, what is the possibility of me having POTS? Because I have done my own tests with the app that I have on my phone, which basically measures my heart rate, and it's called heart rate. Basically, is this is this little app here, and then you take your heart rate just like that. And I showed that to him, and sorry for the notification, but I showed that to him, and he was amazed how technology is because he's pretty aged up. He's pretty up there in age, and I showed him. He was pretty much amazed, and he listened too. Because a lot of doctors they just want to pay. They just want the paycheck, but he listened to what I had to say, and I basically showed him the recordings that I've done with my heart rate, and I showed him the stand up test that I did, and thankfully he knew about it. He saw the results, and the moment he saw the results, he just told me, I'm going to do my own little test here to see if I can get you a referral or see if you need to do a table tilt test for POTS. And he did his test. And I looked down what he wrote. I was sitting down. I was a little bit anxious because, with what's going on. I was sitting down and my heart rate was probably, I think it was around 88 beats per minute, which is kind of a little bit high for sitting down. But again, I was anxious because usually it's around in the 70s when I'm sitting down. So it was like 88 beats per minute, which is still pretty normal than what other people have. And I stood up, and within less than 20 seconds, less than 30 seconds actually, my heart rate shot up to 108. When it was 20 beats per minute, it wasn't 30, but it shot up to 108 just by standing up. And that's within less than 30 seconds. And that's not honestly normal. The doctor basically did his test, looked at me, and nodded. I think your research has finally paid off because I'm definitely going to get you a referral to get this checked out. Because I personally believe that you do have POTS. Hearing that, and basically the last 4 months of people telling me that it's all in my head, that you don't have anything to worry about, you should just do what you have to do. And the past 4 months of just the past 8 months, I should say, because this has been going on since September, but the palpitations and everything, the debilitation stage really took place at the end of January, 4 months ago, on January 25th. Hearing that and having to know that there was something wrong with me since then, or I knew that there was something going on, that anxiety can't just be the only culprit. I kind of felt relieved. I felt really relieved because I know I now have something. Well, I'm not diagnosed with it yet. I have to do a table tilt test to do it. But just the possibility of me having it, and my doctor basically saying like, yeah, go get it checked out, because I personally believe he does. He personally believed that I do have it. But of course, it needs to be done with a proper table tilt test. So I am not diagnosed as of yet. But hearing the fact that there's a huge chance that I do have it, I feel relieved that there can be something be done about it. I can now start on a proper treatment plan to help leave the symptoms, to help get my life back to normal the way it was before. At the same time, there was a slight dark cloud over me, because I have something that I could have for the rest of my life. I actually do have something. And it would have felt better to hear him say that there's really not a chance for me to have POTS or anything. You pretty much just have a really bad case of anxiety, which can go away later on. But at the same time, people who have POTS, and which I've researched, people who have this kind of syndrome, they usually basically don't, it takes years for them to actually for them to have it. And with me, it's just that it took me 4 months, properly 4 months, to actually finally get it, to be on the right road, and to finally have it, basically to get it diagnosed. So knowing that I could possibly have it, I can pretty much start on a treatment plan. I mean, the good news about POTS is that I haven't heard anyone who has POTS is gravely ill or, life threatening. No, I haven't heard anything that resolves like a life threatening sentence. So that's the good news about POTS. It can cause anxiety. It can cause you to experience a ton of symptoms, and it really can debilitate you from daily activities. And it also lets me know that, considering that in the past I've always been worried about my heart, it lets me know that the fact that I have POTS and I'm able to at least do the things that I can do right now, it lets me know that my heart is actually strong, and is pretty much healthy for it to be taking, the POTS. Because if I had any of the things that I thought I had, which is heart failure, heart disease, or anything like that, and I have POTS, that's. I mean, I never heard of anyone having heart issues when you have palpitations or anything, but that palpitations they don't always point to a heart problem, or a problem within the heart. Sometimes it could be caused by other things, but I've never really heard of anyone who has POTS who basically had a serious heart, issue or anything like that. But, it lets me know that my heart is actually strong. It's healthy. I'm 26 years old. I'm still young. And that, for me, going 4 months of me standing and not even having to, like pass out or anything like that, it lets me know that my heart is still working properly. It's still strong. And it's actually getting some exercise, but in a bad way. That's not the proper way to get exercise. But, it's still letting me know that it's still doing something, to keep it strong. But at the same time, my body still feels fatigue, especially on this side. And when I told the neurologist that, my neurologist, he said that, yeah, I really think that you hit the nail on the head finally. I really do believe that there is a possibility of you having POTS. In which he didn't seem alarmed. He didn't seem that, oh man, I'm so sorry. He didn't see anything like that because, from what I've heard, 90% of patients who have POTS overcome it within a period of time. So that's basically could be me. I mean, it really depends on the situation. Um, you know, I'm going to assume my outcome that if I started a proper treatment plan, um, I could at least reduce the number of symptoms and then reduce the amount of fatigue I have on my body within a couple of months. And I can at least start to do it, the things I used to do. But, there could be a still slight chance I still have it. But as long as I can, like, basically still do the activities I could do before and still enjoy my life and still enjoy the things I used to do in my life, even though I could still have POTS in a way, I'll take that. Because all it is basically a debilitating, hitting chronic illness within the human body, but it's not life threatening. And, depending on your severity, you can still enjoy the things you used to do. So, I mean, like I said, I've been getting out before. I'm able to go to the mall. I'm able to walk around. I'm able to go to do my errands. I'm able to, go to see my therapist. I'm able to drive, even though I guess now that if once I get diagnosed, I need to tell somebody. I think I need to tell the DMV that I have an illness that could affect my driving. I need to tell somebody about that. And but other than that, I never really had problems while driving. I drove around for hours before while in the state, and not just in the state, but like in my current condition. And I felt fine. Maybe a little bit of this and that, but I'm still able to get around. Blurry vision, not that bad. I mean, I'm still able to see from like 100 feet away from me. Never had any problems with like my eyes going permanently blind or anything like that. I mean, not permanently, but going near that stage for whatever reason. The only symptoms I really feel that are concerning, well, not concerning to the point where I know I have POTS, is just my shins, my lower shins, like right by my ankles. Um, I do feel a lot of pressure there, and basically that's basically sorry to say that twice. That's pooling of blood, just like blood pooling up in that area because of poor circulation, and I feel that every now and then. I mean, it doesn't happen often, but it happens every now and then. Cold fingertips and stuff like that. I feel every now and then, but it's not as bad as before because I shake my hands just to get my blood pumping, and after a while, I'll become warm again. Um, it explains, my recent happenings of symptoms increasing when I take showers. Um, POTS patients have to look out for like showers or hot water in general because it basically does something to the blood vessels, which shrinks them, or not necessarily shrinks them, if I'm not saying it right, but basically causes your symptoms to grow for that period of time, which now I'm able to take showers again, but in cold water, or basically not hot water, just close to cold water, which basically helps my hygiene. So that's going to be me for the next couple of months, in which it's whatever, as long as I can still do the things. It's basically a lifestyle change in which I have to adapt to. Um, I mean, as far as anxiety is concerned, anxiety is still going to be there. I'm still going to have, maybe I'll have another panic attack every now and then. That's going to be caused because of POTS, because of whatever movements that are done to my nerves. Um, Headaches. Every now and then I get a headache, but it's not that bad as it used to be. I used to have really bad headaches back then. Um, um, Other symptoms like, my my muscles feeling warm out of nowhere, like out of nowhere. Sometimes I would just sweat for no reason. That's going to happen since I have POTS. I mean, as far as like going out in warm weather, I still feel I'm able to do that. I mean, it was warm like last Monday, and I was fine. It was actually very very good for me. I enjoyed it. So I mean, as far as that is concerned, it's something that I don't have to worry about like any serious underlying issues that's wrong with me because the POTS can cause all this stuff. As well as eating after I eat, they say that symptoms can increase. like my heart rate kind of goes up a little bit fast depending on what I eat or how much I've eaten in that time, which I have to eat small, a little bit small. I can't eat big plates. They say that for POTS patients they have to eat small portions 6 times a day, in which I'm just going to start getting into that routine. But as long as I'm eating, as long as I can eat dinner, I'm fine with that. I still believe the anxiety part of after eating, was there before, but at the same time now knowing that POTS is a cause of symptoms after you eat that grow, I don't think I'm going to be that nervous anymore because to me it's whatever. I mean, it's like I said in last week's video, there are people who live with tachycardia whose heart rate is constantly over 100 and it never goes down. I mean for days, weeks, months. I seen a post on a website because I do a lot of research and thankfully I did. That one person who, since she was 18 years old, or he or she, I forgot, this person, their heart rate was over 100 constantly, and it's been the same way for 20 years, and this person is now 38, my bad, and their heart rate is constantly over 100. I mean, that tells me if that's constantly over 100, and they're still living a good life, but every now and then they get concerned, you know, that basically tells me that whenever I do get tachycardia, which happens rarely, and when it does happen, it only happens for about 10 to 15 minutes at a time. That basically tells me don't worry about it. It's basically the nerves getting overexcited. It's just the POTS. It's not an extremely dangerous number. It lets you know that your heart is stronger and be able to take it, and you'll be fine within, once you start the proper treatment to help calm your nerves down and get your body back in shape. So the anxiety part. I think I'm going to start losing a lot more stress, knowing that I can actually now do something about my issue. I don't have to worry about like what if I can't do this because now I know kind of exactly what to do. Well, I'll know once I get the testing done because it's like I said, I have not been diagnosed as of yet. I had to get a table tilt test done to be diagnosed, and that's when I will. It's just that my neurologist pretty much believes that it could be a possibility that I have it. And with all the symptoms that I've been feeling for the past 4 months, I kind of agree with that notion. And I can't say for sure, but I'm probably one of the few people in the world. Well, I'm not going to assume that, but I'm probably one of the few people who has caught their POTS early because there are people who have POTS, but they don't get diagnosed for years later after the POTS start taking effect with their bodies. And and I forgot the day. I think it's the 22nd. Yeah, it's the 22nd, and basically 3 days from now will be the 25th, in which it will be exactly 4 months since I've been having my POTS issue. Catching it within 4 months of me being at the age of 28, it feels good to finally catch it early. It feels really good, and I can pretty much do something about it early. And a lot of people who has POTS, they do say that if you were able to catch it within the first year of you having POTS, that's pretty early. And hearing that I caught it in 4 months, I mean, I can't assume what the outcome is going to be. I'm not going to assume. All I know is once it gets diagnosed, or if it does get diagnosed, I'm just going to do the proper treatment plan. I'm going to do what I can do to try to overcome it, and hopefully within the next couple of months to a year or so, I'll be back perfectly. I'll have my life back, but I can't again. It depends on what the treatment plan is. It depends on what kind of POTS I have because I think there are different type of POTS. Now, knowing that I don't have a heart failure, knowing that I have a strong heart, especially with my exercise routine, knowing that my heart rate kind of like recovers in a decent amount of time after telling people. Now, they were saying that, oh yeah, like I said last week, my heart rate was 124 after doing my exercise around my house. And about like 5 to 10 minutes later, it went down to the 80s and 70s. And there were people were telling me, and this is true, and people were telling me, yeah, that's a really good recovery time. You got a healthy heart, and that puts my mind at ease, and it doesn't really make me worry about my heart rate anymore. So, knowing all this, I guess I can finally breathe. But at the same time, I now have work to do once I get diagnosed. So, um, yeah, I mean, I can talk about my week or talk about the symptoms, but basically, talking about my week was just saying that, it was just group therapy for me, just self therapy for me to like talk about what happened because I thought I was anxiety, and I thought if the more I talk about the anxiety, it would go away. But now knowing that there is an underlying issue that is causing my anxiety and I have found it, you know, I can now do a proper plan to finally get rid of my anxiety. And I have felt less stressed knowing that there is something that I can do properly to get rid of my anxiety, because a lot of people were telling me, you just gotta search within your subconscious mind to find what is your triggers. And I've been thinking for the past 4 months, and I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I'm not a stressful person. I don't put stress on me like that. I hate being stressed out. I'm always trying to be positive with as much as I can, and I've not been a stressful person like that. So I don't understand what thoughts could trigger me to feel this fatigue all the time. I don't understand it. I don't understand how it could happen. So now knowing the underlying cause of me having POTS puts me at a better perspective, and it puts me in a good place to know that that could be the reason. I said could be, and like I said, I haven't been diagnosed, but that could very well be the reason why I have been suffering the way I've been suffering, and that there is a huge possibility that I can overcome it. I may not be able to fully overcome it, but at least if I can just reduce the amount of symptoms that I feel, reduce the amount of fatigue that I feel, if I can at least do that, which can allow me to do my daily activities with a good mindset, I'll be fine. If I can go out for a day and enjoy, myself at a concert, you know, without having any problems, I will do that. If I can just go out for a day and enjoy time with my friends, go out to work or anything like that without any problems. Maybe I feel a twitch there, I feel some heat here, but it's not enough to cause me to have a panic attack or cause me to faint, in which, I've never fainted in my life before. As long as if I have a good mindset and I'm able to not feel as many symptoms as I am now, that's all I need. As long as I can get on with my life, live a happy life, I can live with POTS. Anyone can live with POTS as far as when I'm concerned. I mean, depending on the person, POTS is it's a huge struggle. A very huge struggle that a lot of people do not know about. And it needs more awareness, because there are a lot of people out there who probably have POTS and is currently being told by their doctors, their family members, their friends, everyone that is on their head. And people don't understand that causes more anxiety to go within them, which increases their symptoms. Because, I cannot tell you how many times people told me that it was in my head and how many times I wanted to punch them in the face. Because it's that annoying. It's very frustrating to hear it's all in your head. Because if it was all in my head, I would not be making this video right now. I would not be talking about it, because there's stuff still going on. So knowing that, and knowing that there's honestly something that can do that can be done, they can finally stop with it. That's all in your head, and I can start doing the proper treatment plan in order for me to get back on the right track. So that's basically where I am. So as far as symptoms, weekly symptoms, I'm still going to do this video. Basically, I'm waiting to hear back from someone from the hospital so I can talk to them about setting up an appointment to do a table tilt test, and hopefully I can get that done. Hopefully next week. If I can get that done next week, perfect. I may have another big update for next week's video. I'm still going to be doing this video, the videos weekly. It's just that it's going to be, the title is not just going to be this anxiety though, it's going to be this POTS, the POTS though, you know, or something like that, I don't know. But I'm mostly going to be talking about POTS from now on, if I do get diagnosed, because that's the main cause of me having these issues. So, you know, just like that, you know, I'm not sure what else to talk about. I can talk about my week, but you know, it's pretty much been the same thing. I experienced a symptom here or there. Um, and, you know, I've told my friend Curtis, who'll give it another shout out to, I've always talked to him about, you know, our hypochondria issues, but I think as of now, I'm no longer a hypochondriac because I now know exactly what's causing my anxiety. So, or, you know, from what he said, he's been going to see a psychologist or psychologist or a therapist, and he was told that, you know, he really necessarily doesn't have hypochondria. He just basically has a sense of paranoia about what if he was to have something. And I guess I could say the same thing, but you know, it's already out there. I know what the possibility of me having, you know, what the underlying cause of that I have. So that's basically my issue, and that's basically where I am. So yeah, that's where I am. I mean, that's it. I guess that's going to be the video this week. So next week, I'm going to try to get a table tilt test done, and we'll possibly see if we get anything else done. So that's it for this week's video. I'll pretty much talk to you guys next week, and see you then. Later. Wait. Before I end this video, since it's pretty much a POTS video and the possibility of me having POTS, if anyone has POTS issues who lives with POTS, you know, comment on the video. I would love to talk to you about how you deal with your everyday life with POTS, because that's basically where I'm going to be for the next couple of months or next couple of years, however, you know, however long. But yeah, contact me. I will talk to you. I will talk to you forever long. We can Skype with each other. I will give you my hours to hear what you've been through, because I would like to talk. I'd like to talk about this stuff. So again, so hit me up. I will talk to you. And that's it for this video. So I will see you next week. Later, peeps.